Welcome back one and all to the AOR PC Split 1 Championship with F1 2013. It's the 10th season of AOR, and we're at Malaysia for the second round of this season. My name is Justin, and joining me once again, it's Alex.
Hello again, it's good to be here, and looking forward to this race.
Yep, me too. Malaysia's one of my favorite tracks for sure. Last time out, it was Hamish who took the race win over 8 seconds ahead of his former teammate Marco FD, who led a Ferrari double podium with his teammate Double D just a couple of seconds down the road from him when the checkered flag fell. The race results look a lot like the championship standings, of course, with the Marussias in 4th and 5th, Klawutzke leading Ycoms, both of whom were our drivers of the day in Australia. Enough about the last race, though. Let's kick things off for this Malaysian Grand Prix, starting with the qualifying report.
For this week's qualifying comparison, it is going to be Klawutzke and Posses, the two Germans, giving us a lap around the Sepang International Circuit. Down into turn 1 we can see Klawutzke delaying his shift down into first gear to avoid a possible lock-up in these tricky conditions, which are the intermediate tyres for both drivers. Now out of turn 2 we can see Posses having a nicer line through there, taking more momentum, and now both of them using about a third of their curves, and we can already see by the sign above the track, Posses is having a big advantage, or rather big, 1/10 of a second, I would say, advantage over Klawutzke, and both of them not cutting that right-hander, which is very good to see. Now to my personal favorite sector of this track, fast left-right flowing chicane in the dry, it is flat out, big lift for both of them, and Klawutzke running out a bit too wide there. Now down into third gear from him, whereas Posses is using fourth, so that's going to give him a better momentum down into the hairpin. Klawutzke using a bit more time, whereas Posses mixed his braking zone very nicely. On the apex we can see it is now about a 1.5 tenths, as Posses makes the exit again very nicely. Isn't actually going purple as they're now going to the right-hander, which seems to be going on forever when you're driving. The turning in point is so far away from the apex as they now go into the penultimate corner, the trickiest corner of the track in the dry, let alone the wet. Both of them missing their apex just a tad. Posses turning in a bit too early and having a bit of a wiggle at the exit as well. Now having a bit of a slipstream from the car ahead as well, as they've both used the rest of their curves and now mentally prepared for the last corner, which can literally screw your lap up. And Posses does so. He runs over the curb, goes on the grass, possibly even the gravel there. Klawutzke does it perfectly. Now powers out of the last turn to take actually this qualifying comparison this week, which was looking very unlikely at the beginning of sector 1 and 2. So in first position it is again Honey Badger for Red Bull Racing, a 35.7, 2 out of 2 for him. But back to your main commentators for the full qualifying rundown.
So that is how the qualifying looks. Honey Badger taking pole position ahead of Marco FD and Double D, so the two Ferraris in second and third, which is where they finished the race actually in Australia in these difficult conditions with the intermediate tires. We can see everybody was on the intermediates. Honey Badger's teammate Fissler way down in 10th though in the other Red Bull Racing car. As we saw Klawutzke and Posses in 7th and 8th. Klawutzke's teammate narrowly edging him out by about 0.3 of a second in 6th position. Cool Cat, the American, driving for Lotus in 5th position, and Hamish in 4th behind those two Ferraris, but ahead of both of the Marussia cars. Bringing up the rear of the grid, we've got both of the Williams outside of the top 10, an unfortunate qualifying session for them, and it looks like NRL Kubica and Titan of Racing as well were not in qualifying. I wonder if we'll see them in the race. We'll have to find out about that. Magnussen, though, in 12th position for McLaren Mercedes, and just behind him, the other American, L-Crack 91, in 13th position, 2.3 seconds off the pace in qualifying. Time for the race, though. Let's head to the grid. So here we are on the grid in Malaysia. Some wonderful shots of the circuit there. One of my favorite circuits on the Formula One calendar. Alex and I were talking a little bit about it before the race, but we're getting ready to get going here. Alex, quick prediction. Who do you think is going to be leading after the first corner?
Leading. I don't know. I quite fancy Marco FD. I've raced against him quite a lot, and I know he's certainly a good racer, so I think I'm going to go with him.
Yep, it wouldn't surprise. You could definitely go around the outside at turn 1, get the inside line for turn number 2, which can be very beneficial as the lights are coming on now. 4 lights. We've got 5 lights. We're on board with Hamish in that Toro Rosso, and the lights are out, and away we go. Both Ferraris getting a pretty decent start, but not so much for Honey Badger, who's definitely looks like he's lost out to Marco FD. Wow, Alex definitely called that one. Double D getting the slipstream off of the Red Bull. He's going to look to the inside. They're side by side, though. Honey Badger braked very late, runs a little bit wide. They're 3 wide at the exit of turn number 1, heading into turn number 2, but it does look like Honey Badger's going to hold on to that lead, but who's going to come out as the lead Ferrari car? It looks like it might actually be Double D, as he had the inside line for that very, very long flat-out corner at turn number 3. Lucas Schumacher now looking to make a move on Klawutzke. Klawutzke down several positions, started in 7th. Ycoms as well, down a couple of positions as well, so the Marussia cars have not had a very good start. Nicky FD and Fissler having some contact there. Cool Cat as well making contact with Ycoms, and some more contact happening between Nicky FD and Ycoms. Lucas Schumacher taking advantage of that, started outside the top 10, now up into P7, and we're not even through Sector 2 yet. Magnussen as well getting by. It's been a terrible start for Ycoms. Both Marussia cars way down the order now, and Double D coming at Honey Badger, trying to take the lead of this race. He's going to have to go around the outside, though, at turn number 11, which he's actually done very well. It'll give him the inside line now for turn number 12. Is Honey Badger going to be able to stick it around the outside? He does, and that'll give him the inside line for this decreasing radius corner, the penultimate corner on the circuit at turn number 14. But again, Double D hangs it around the outside. He'll get the inside line for this hairpin that we're coming up to here. Of course, no DRS activated just yet. Marco FD getting a wonderful slipstream. He's the only person out of the top 3 getting any sort of slipstream, actually. And Double D with that inside line does grab the lead. Oh, and there's been contact between Marco FD and Honey Badger. Wow, I'm going to have to see a replay of that. But it does look like Marco FD lifted off the throttle. He's going to let Honey Badger have that position. He's down into 3rd now. Fissler and Nicky FD both getting past Marco. What a crazy first lap.
Yeah, that was insane. Yeah, a little bit unfortunate for Marco, though. Just ready to get on the power, trying to get some move done. But, oh, big contact there. No idea what happened on the inside of us. But Lucas has been massively unlucky there. He just got completely taken out, completely unsighted, and cars just came straight into the side of him. Luckily, there's no damage to him, and he didn't get spun off, so it could have been worse. But certainly a couple of positions lost there for him. Not ideal. But, yeah, go back into it. Marco, just a little bit unfortunate there, really. But quite a strange. I think some lag might have been involved as well. But fair play to him for slowing down. But that certainly cost him a few positions. He was looking at fighting for the lead perhaps in the next corner, and he's now down in, where was he, about P4 or 5 I think?
Yeah.
P5 when we last saw him, so yeah, a little bit unfortunate for both those guys there.
Yep, he's got his work cut out for him now, that's for sure, as we go on board with Passos in the McLaren, running behind both of the Marussias. Ycoms running very wide there at the double right-hander of turn 7 and 8, and he's going to have the inside line for this hairpin coming at turn number 9, and Magnussen is going to have to go around the outside, which isn't impossible at this corner, actually. He does it to good effect. Gives him the inside line for turns 10 and 11 here, which is very beneficial and moves him up into 9th position ahead of the Marussia driver. He's got Klawutzke up ahead, as we're going to be getting DRS activated pretty soon here. Not just yet. We've got another lap to complete after this one, but it looks like we've already got a bit of a gap starting to form. Marco FD trying to gain some positions back. He was actually down to P6, but he has moved himself up into P5 now, and he's got Nicky FD just ahead of him. Hamish now in 2nd position. It was a pretty decent start for him. He wasn't able to gain positions heading into the first corner, but of course he's right up on the back of our current race leader, Double D, in the Ferrari, and it looks like Double D is not going to even bother to defend the inside line. As I mentioned, though, going around the outside at turn number 1 can be very beneficial because of the inside line at turn number 2. Hamish with a bit of a cutback or a switchback maneuver at that corner. Lucas Schumacher, I would say, probably had the most exciting race out of everyone, getting more and more exciting here with a couple of contacts with Magnussen at the exit of 1 and 2. And he's down into 12th position after, I believe, starting in 11th position. And he got all the way up to 7th. Now he's back down to 12th. But go ahead and talk us through the lap 1 replays, Alex.
Yeah, so on board here with Posses or Posses, whatever it is, and lots of contact, completely sandwiched between Marussias there. Not like he could have done, to be fair. Perhaps he could have backed out of it a little bit earlier. And a little bit later than that, then looking on board with Klawutzke, just going on the outside of that last corner there. And oh, lots of wheel spin. I'm not sure if he got tagged, but certainly had a big drift on there. And oh, he's done well to avoid that Marussia. Bit of a flying car on the left-hand side there. But certainly we're getting very, very close. And now on board with Marco. On to lap 3. So this is him go on the outside then of Nicky FD. If we can get this stick, this will be a nice move. Managed to outbrake him there. Bit of contact though on his inside, I think. But oh, bit of oversteer. He's going to get the inside line though. As you mentioned, it can be beneficial to fly on the outside. He's managed to make the move stick. So decent move by him there.
Double D, though, still leading this race with Hamish just behind, though, as we're coming to the end of lap number 3. They won't get DRS, though, because the DRS detection line and indeed the activation line are both before the start-finish line, so they'll be getting it at the end of this lap. But we can see Double D is already on -1 fuel. He's going to go down into lean mix now as his KERS gets refilled. Hamish is going to try and go around the outside at turn number 1. A nice job by Double D, though. Carries a lot of speed with that inside line and defends the position very well. Really nothing Hamish could do about that. As we start lap number 4, he goes up into standard mix. So good use of fuel there, I think, by Double D. Turns 1 and 2 is an excellent place to do some fuel saving. Hamish decides he wants to go to the left-hand side a bit late there, and Double D, though, obliges. Very nice of him. We're on the option tires on both of these cars, of course, and with the inside line heading into turn number 5, Hamish takes the lead of this race in the Toro Rosso car. If he can try and break away, get Double D out of this DRS activation range at the end of this lap, then he could be on for a nice, easy race with no mistakes, of course. Moving on board with Klawutzke, who was, I believe he was my driver of the day last time, and Ycoms was yours, if I'm not mistaken.
That rings a bell, yes.
Yeah.
Moose drivers, wasn't it?
Yeah. But wow, Cool Cat and Nicky FD with a little bit of contact at the turn number 9 hairpin there. Nicky FD coming out ahead. Fissler taking advantage of the situation, moving ahead of the Lotus driver. Klawutzke just kind of staying behind. He's coming under attack now, though, from Passes on his right-hand side. He's got the inside line for this high-speed left-hander, but I believe Passes is still there. He's a very aggressive move into the penultimate corner here. Fissler also on the attack through the penultimate corner, and we do have DRS now, and we're having a double look at Double D and also Klawutzke on the left-hand side. Double D diving into the pits at the end of lap number 4, so that's a pretty early stop. Possibly going for a 3-stop. We see a Red Bull going into the pits as well. It was not Honey Badger, it was the other Red Bull driver. Klawutzke, though, continuing on for another lap. Interesting to point out, which I didn't notice prior to just now, Klawutzke is on the prime tires, in fact. So Klawutzke doing a great job of sticking with these guys, battling with these guys, even though he's on the harder compound tires. He's got Cool Cat to his right-hand side as they're going through turn number 2. And will Cool Cat get the grip that he needs coming out of the corner to move by him? Klawutzke drains his entire bar of KERS, but it's still not enough, and Cool Cat moves up ahead into 4th position, so Klawutzke down into 5th. I'm not sure what the net positions are now. Oh, they're getting very close to each other at the exit of turn number 4. Can Klawutzke go around the outside of turn 5? It would be very impressive if he did. He's going to get the inside line for turn 6, but Cool Cat carries a lot more speed and defends that position well.
Yeah, look at Posses. I'll look at the inside now. A bit of KERS, but he's, I think perhaps he might push Klawutzke wide there with a little bit of lag. But Klawutzke's getting lost out there. But as you said, he is on the prime tyres, so if he can just stick with these option runners, having said that, Maggie's on our inside there is actually on the prime tyres as well. So yes, if he can just keep up some decent pace, he might be in it. It's always a sinking feeling when you're on the prime tyres and you're not doing very well and you're falling back from the lead. It's always bad. It always feels bad, but sometimes it can work out. So just to stick with it, hopefully have some decent pace. And interesting to see if these leaders pit now, the ones that start on options, see if they pit at the end of this lap. For instead of the prime tyres, Hamish now just coming to pit entry. He'll need to stay right if he does. Does he? No, he doesn't. So he carries on for another lap then. So that's going to be a whole another 2 laps at least, more than Double D and Ycoms then. So man, looks like Posses having a look inside a cool. Hey, lots and lots of lag though. But that's Cool Cat there just diving into the pits. And, well, I'm not sure if that was moved on or not, really. It was more of a just case of the driver pitting.
Yep, and we've got a nice inter-team battle now going on between the two McLarens. Magnussen coming up on the left-hand side of Passes as we're heading into turn number 1 at the start of lap number 6. And Passes with a nice amount of fuel. I noticed that Marco FD as well with a good amount of fuel. And we saw Double D's fuel earlier. He was already on -1, so Double D could be slower later on in the race, or possibly right now. We did see him doing some fuel saving through the first couple of corners not too long ago, but we're on board now with Double D. He's in 7th position, so I believe he pit. Yes, he is on the prime tires now. Yeah, so he's been into the pits. He's only dropped down to 7th position after making that pit stop. We can see it's quite a large gap to Klawutzke up the road, who I believe has not pitted yet. Ycoms, another one of those drivers that has pit, and he's going to dive up the inside here on Cool Cat at turn number 4, and that looks like a pretty easy maneuver. Cool Cat, though, coming back at him, a bit of a switchback maneuver. He's going to have to try and go around the outside at 5, though. Is he going to do it? Wow, he does it. That's an impressive move from Cool Cat there. Ycoms now in that dirty air through turn number 6, of course, very difficult, especially on high fuel as we are right now, through the very tricky double right-hander. Not quite a blind apex on that one, but certainly a very difficult couple of corners to navigate. And on board now with the other Ferrari driver, Marco FD, who has not made his stop yet. He's getting by Honey Badger now with the assistance of DRS down the back straight, heading into the final corner. And is he going to pit? No, he's not, but Honey Badger does. So Hamish and Marco... oh, gosh, and Cool Cat has... he was going very slow through what is essentially a flat-out corner at turn number 12, so that's very interesting. On board with Lucas Schumacher on the left-hand side as Passes comes into the pits on the right. Lucas Schumacher down into 13th position, so there was just 13 starters for this race. But he was, as I mentioned before, he was up into 7th, started in like 11th, up to 7th, down to 12th, now down to 13th. He's got a couple of cars just ahead of him, though, Cool Cat and Ycoms. They're doing battle as they head down the straight. And where is Passes going to come out in relation to them? There he is coming out of the pits right now, and it looks like he's going to stay ahead of all three of these drivers. I'm sure he can quickly get those prime tires up to temperature and take care of those guys and not have to worry about them. Lucas, though, goes around the outside of Ycoms at turn number 2 and moves himself up into 12th. Again, I got to say, I think Lucas here has probably had the most eventful race so far.
Yes, absolutely. He's been all over the place, hasn't he? Lots and lots of incidents. And still not pitted there as far as well. Obviously starting on the primes there, I believe. So should be a decent... And look at that front left there on the right-hand side for Hamish. It's really quite worn. This will be costing him time on this lap. I don't think that would quite have fallen off the cliff yet, but he certainly will need to pit this lap. If it hasn't already fallen off the cliff, it will do next lap. Klawutzke now up in P4 then, having started on the prime tyres. It's looking pretty good. Quite a way back though, if you look at the mini-map from Hamish in the lead. So we'll see if this plays out or not. But of course, the only problem is when you qualify in he's got very wide there over the curb. Managed to keep on the track just about. And lost probably at least a second there, but could have been worse. He could have certainly lost a lot more, maybe not as much as a second actually. But yeah, so it'd be interesting to see. Like I said, if you obviously qualify on the prime tires, you start lower down, that's the thing. So let's see now if he can come out ahead. You hope he can come out ahead of the leaders since he starts on the tires, but let's have a little look as they come out of the pits here.
Yep, on board with Double D on the left, his teammate Marco FD on the right, and I think Double D is going to be ahead of him. Yeah, I believe he's already passed him in the pit lane. Yes, he has. So Magnussen now leading this race as it stands right now. Marco FD behind his teammate Double D, who is in second position as it stands right now. Hamish in between them, though. Hamish in third position as it stands right now. Having a look at Klawutzke on the right-hand side as he goes into the pits for the set of the prime tires, and that's going to release him.
He starts on the primes, let's not forget, so he's only managed to stay out as long as the guys on the options ahead. Both Marco and Hamish both running options. Lots and lots of contact here. This doesn't look too good. I don't know if it's the lag or the potato cam of Possis, but it's not looking too good. Lots of them. You see the car on the right hand side, they're moving around a lot. Cool Cat, looks like contact there. I don't know if there was, but there's certainly contact now. And very, very messy here. And this is not much to rejoin the track, but certainly I think they're 4 abreast coming to this corner, now 3 abreast, I believe. So not a lot showing. There we go. That's usually what happens when you're 3 abreast. And there's only 2 abreast in the end, but got a good shove. Certainly something through the lag there, I thought as well. Another shove for Nicky, but guess where that looks like L Crack has not got too great pace around those couple of corners. Just certainly hold everyone up. Just going to try and look at the inside there, see if he can hold it. And is there contact? No, there's not contact. So fair play to him. And everyone's just trying to drive round L Crack here, including Ycoms, who manages it as well. So I think L Crack's tyres might have pretty much gone off. I expect to see in the pits very soon indeed.
Yep, I mean, that's not great for him if he's already down as low as he is in 13th. Yeah, he's down into 13th position, and a lot of these guys, I believe all of these guys have actually made their stop already. So, yeah, maybe not the best strategy, unfortunately, for them. Of course, everybody did start on the, or qualified, excuse me. Wow. That was an interesting one. Ycoms there trying to get by and just drive straight into the back of him. Passes with the inside line. He's got Nicky FD just behind him in the Toro Rosso, and I believe Nicky is going to get the DRS. Yes, he does. Passes does not receive the DRS. We can see that wing wide open on the Toro Rosso behind him as Honey Badger sets the fastest lap of the race with a 1:35.6. That's incredible. That is 1.1 seconds faster than Passes' fastest lap here, and he's gonna have the inside line for turn number 2 here. But actually, Nicky FD with a great exit out of turn 2 is going to move up into 8th position with that move. A nice job there. He's going to defend the inside line. No surprise, heading into turn number 4. Difficult to go around the outside of turn 4. I don't know if it's quite off camber, but Passes proving me wrong there. Does sort of manage to hang around at the outside. Gets the inside line for turn number 5. And is he going to get back ahead of Nicky FD? He sure does. Lucas Schumacher following not too far behind. Klawutzke just behind him as well. This battle for P8 is, I mean, between at least 4 cars, possibly even 5. Yeah, I think it is 5 cars actually currently involved in this battle as we move on board with Klawutzke, a dive bomb at the turn 9 hairpin, and it looks like Nicky has run a little bit wide there, and this has given Passes some breathing room. Just look how close all 4 of these cars are. Nicky FD and Lucas Schumacher going side by side. Ycoms trying to be a bit opportunistic there and take both those positions. He's going to have to go around the outside of that very high-speed corner, and now he's got a braking zone he needs to handle with it. He loses both of those positions. Marco FD now making a move on Honey Badger, I believe. Yes, he's going to go around the outside at the final corner, and he's not going to get DRS here, though. They come out of the corner side by side. He's going to have the inside line, but Honey Badger with that DRS, yeah, just takes the position straight back.
Yeah, DRS is quite powerful, particularly as there's 2 zones as well. There is 2 detection zones as well. But oh, nice switch back from Double D there, and takes the position. That was a really nice move on, I believe it was Magnussen there.
Yep.
So that was pretty sweet. That was a textbook switch back there, or a cutback. So really nice to see. And Marco's looking like having a little go at, is it Honey Badger? Hamish, I think it's Honey Badger. And look at the inside now. He's got the inside line. You'd think he'd be able to get the move done. Squeeze him quite heavily there. Almost pushed him onto the grass, in fact. And managed to get the move done with a slight corner cut. So yeah, pretty decent move from Marco there.
Yep, we could say he was just giving him room.
Yes, absolutely. And here's the replay then. Lucas with the DRS having a look at the inside of Ycoms. Ycoms? I think it's Ycoms. Yes, it is. And managed to make it stick there, braking nicely, hitting his apex beautifully, and that's how you do it with DRS. Oh, he's run a little bit deep though. Is that going to give Ycoms the initiative to get back past him? No, not quite. Ycoms can't quite get the exit, unfortunately, there. And back and forth Hamish now.
Yep, and he's closing in on Magnussen as it stands right now. I believe Magnussen, one of the few that has not pit yet. We've got some carbon fiber on the circuit back there. I'm sure that won't be a problem, though. He's closing right up on Magnussen now. It is lap 10. If you were going to do a 2-stop and run primes at the start, this is sort of where I would expect to see people starting to pit now, potentially. Of course, the track quite green in the earlier stages of the race, so the tires don't last quite as long as they do later on. But you'd expect the primes, if you're going to be doing a 2-stop, you'd expect the primes. Oh, as Ycoms having some trouble with his prime tires as he's gone very deep at the penultimate corner, all the way into the gravel. You can see that on his left-hand side, on his front left tire. Passes now getting very close to the other Red Bull driver, Fissler, who started in 10th position, now up into 6th as Marco FD sets a new fastest lap of the race with the 135.25. And is Passes? No, he's not even close enough to make an attack on Fissler. But Fissler goes very deep into turn 1, which just opens the door for Passes. He goes around the outside at turn number 2, and with that better traction is able to take that position. Back on board with Double D, and it looks like, oh no, he's run very wide, and that slammed him into the barrier, and out of this race. Double D, with a heavy impact into the barrier, is going to be forced to retire before we even reach the halfway point of the race.
I think there must have been some sort of wheel issue. If we just have a look at him now, the wheel just locks where it is, if you have a look. So about now, it seems to just lock, and it just keeps turning the exact same angle pretty much all the way into the wall. So I think he must have had some sort of wheel issue or something weird happened there.
I think you're right.
Certainly wasn't any sort of mistake, it was just some sort of controller issue there. So unfortunate issue for him from the leader race there, I believe it was. So destroyed his vehicle, and I'm not sure who that's going to give the lead to. Is it Hamish?
I think so.
I think it might be Hamish. Hamish just lucked into the lead there, but he'll certainly take that. And you never know, he could have bad luck later in the season, so you'll always take a bit of luck. And a bit of contact there on the inside, just about manages to not go too wide though. He's going to squeeze him on the entry there. Oh, nailed! You don't want to do that corner. I've done that a few times, and it's not pretty, but he's got away with it just about. And you'll notice as well, as I mentioned last race, this rubbered in line is starting to come now. And when you certainly want to be on that, it looks like Fissler's going to fly past him with DRS. There he goes, outside line now for Klawutzke. Try the cut. Oh, Fissler's average to the pits actually, so that's giving Klawutzke a nice easy time, and you might even get the DRS there if he's lucky. So
I think so. I think he would have gotten the DRS there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm trying to keep track of these pits, but I'm not doing a very good job of it. It's hard with that one, the point of views and stuff. I've got the top 8. I've got the top 8 when they first pitted. I'll try and keep track of it if I can. But it's looking like about 5, really, average of about 5, maybe 6 up on the options. Some went 7, and probably about 7 or 8 laps on the primes there. Maybe a little bit more, judging on what we've seen so far. And decent start from Lucas there onto the primes, and I will make a note of that right now.
Yep, and he is following Nicky FD into turn 1 now, and I think he's just right about within the DRS range, but they've got to go around an entire lap, of course, before Lucas will get the benefit of that. We're on board now with our race leader, Hamish, on lap number 12. Marco is very close behind him. Again, the one-time teammates. These guys drove for Mercedes not that long ago. They were teammates together back when Ryan L83 was doing the PC side of the AOR videos. And nope, they are no longer on the same team. They're both powered by Ferrari, but it is for totally different teams. And now on board with Possis, who is quite a ways off. You can see up at the top left the delta between himself and Honey Badger is around 12 seconds. He's also on about optimal fuel, which is something I'm trying to keep track of as well. Klawutzke coming under attack from Magnussen. He's got all of his KERS though. He uses more than half of it. He's going to use all of it. It does look like he uses all of it to try and fend off Magnussen here. He's not going to bother to defend the inside line though, and I think Magnussen is happy to let him have the inside line because I think Magnussen is after getting that DRS on this start-finish straight. And let's see if he tries to mount an attack here. And is Klawutzke going to use any KERS to try and defend? No, he's not. And he just moves straight up into 5th position in that McLaren. Oh, it was Klawutzke, though, with an incredible late braking maneuver. Grabs the inside line at turn number 1. He's going to try the switchback. No, he's going to make contact with Magnussen. And, he's coming back at him, though.
Judgmental tone there, Justin.
Apologies. But, yeah, with the better exit out of turn 2, he does move up ahead of Magnussen. I believe that is Ycoms. Yes, that is Ycoms. Coming out of the pits on the prime tires at the beginning of lap number 13, and he's now in last position, but of course last position is now 10th, so you just need to finish the race at this point if you want to score any points. Hamish still being hounded by Marco, that gap getting smaller and smaller as we're rapidly approaching the DRS detection line back there, and the DRS activation line, the first of 2. Coming up after this penultimate corner. You can see Marco getting quite a bit of understeer in the dirty air of that Toro Rosso car through the penultimate corner. He's got the DRS open now. He doesn't have quite all of his KERS. He's got around 2/3, maybe 60% of his KERS under braking now for the final corner. So he's going to be deploying all of that KERS and getting DRS here on his former teammate. And he's got the slipstream, of course, as well. Hamish really doesn't have much to defend with. And here comes Marco, ducks out of the slipstream to the left-hand side, not to the inside line. And he's going to try and go around the outside at turn number 1. No contact between them just yet. Marco looks like he's got the job just about done. He can finish it off here at turn number 2, and it looks like he's done that. Hamish, though, coming back at him with a little bit of a switchback maneuver there. He's picking up the slipstream here as well, but I have a feeling Marco's going to defend the inside line. Oh! And some frame rate issues for Hamish, it seems here, although it doesn't seem to be affecting his racing. But Marco FD manages to take that position up into the lead now.
Yes, absolutely, and it was interesting to see that Hamish seems to use most of his KERS on the start-finish straight there, so rather than save it for later in the lap, perhaps mount a next attack, knowing the move's over, he seems to try and defend it desperately down the straight. And looks like a nice, easy move from Magnussen there, just flying past Klawutzke with the DRS, but Klawutzke is now going to get the benefit of DRS on this next race. We'll see if we can get him straight back. Going to try to stick nice and close, not as good of exit though, and unfortunately we do flip away there, but might have got to move back there. And Lucas, have a look at Nicky FD, and flying straight inside, nice and easy with DRS, and although looks like Nicky's going to try it back around the outside, not going to work though. Lucas is going to hold the inside line nicely and get the nice easy DRS move done, and it's always nice to get these moves done as a driver, but it's now got quite the same satisfaction as being able to absolutely nail someone in a braking zone or somewhere unexpected, or it's always a great feeling. And interestingly, Marco using most of his KERS there, looking like he's trying to break the DRS to Hamish, which he's going to achieve. He was a second at the last split. I don't know if he achieved it, but it would have been very close indeed. So that's why Marco reached the end. Yes, I think he might have done. Hamish looks like he's struggling. And they pitted on the same lap for the same tyres. They're both on primes. They both pitted on lap 7. So interesting. Hamish is dropping back. Maybe perhaps his pace is worse, or perhaps he's got worse tyre wear. Not too sure at this stage. But they're both carrying on for another lap anyway. And looking on board of Klawutzke now.
No!
Makes a big mistake. I think he nearly did that earlier in the race, and he's done it properly this time into the gravel. And that's certainly not ideal. That's cost him quite a few seconds there. And his tyres are reasonably warm, but not badly so. He puts on lap 7. So he's done about 7 laps on them or so, so he shouldn't need to come in just yet. I'm not too sure, but Possis certainly is coming in for his primes. Possis pitted on lap 6, so 1 lap earlier, and Klawutzke's also pitting. So you've got 1 lap less than Possis out of those tyres. I think perhaps because he ran wide there, he decided that enough was enough for those tyres, and he decided to pit.
Yeah, I can't really blame him after that type of incident. And unfortunately, I do not speak German, so I'm not sure what tire compound he just selected there on the right-hand side. Passes, though, down into 6th position after the pits, and he will see Klawutzke turning into his pit box. Klawutzke going for another set of the prime tires. And there he goes, heading out of the pits now as Nicky FD and Lucas Schumacher go flying by. Lucas getting the inside line at turn number 1. Great camera work here. Love seeing the split view of this. And Lucas taking that position on Nicky FD and only using a bit of curves, and now he's going to use a little bit more to try and break away, I think, as we're on board now with Ycoms in 10th position. He's got fuel, though, which a lot of drivers can't say. I'm seeing a lot of drivers on optimal fuel, whereas Ycoms here still has quite a bit of fuel to play with. But you have to say, both of the Marussia drivers quite out of position if Australia was any sort of indication, as they both finished in the top 5 in Australia, and they are currently running in last and second to last in this race, which is quite a difference from both being in the top 5. As you mentioned, Alex, Hamish is dropping off quite a bit from Marco FD. Even though he sets a faster lap versus his previous, he's now 3 seconds adrift of the Ferrari driver, so that gap is definitely growing. Potentially, Hamish either just was a bit too aggressive on his tires, he may just not be getting along well with the circuit at this stage. We can only speculate as to the cause of all that, but continuing on for yet another lap, I expect we'll be seeing at least one of those 2 drivers in the pits soon, though.
Yes, absolutely. I think Hamish might be having some consistency issues there as well. I mean, a whole second up on your previous lap is not good. So whether he made one big mistake perhaps, or whether he's just having some consistency issues. But like I said, either way, his pace does not seem to be up there with Marco. So if Marco keeps it up, we should have the race in the bag. I know we're only just over halfway, but some pretty decent pace showing over the guy in P2 at the moment. And Lucas there trying to defend effectively from Nicky, trying to have it back up the inside. Nicky's left him plenty of room. Bit of contact there, I think, but Nicky's going to have the inside line for this next one. Can Lucas get the better exit? Usually can the outside, he does indeed. So managed to hold to that position just about, which is impressive on this track considering how powerful DRS is. But looks like it's not all over yet. Klawutzke's going to watch on as Nicky's going to have a little look at the inside of Lucas, and is he going to make it move stick? Nice and tight there, no contact, good to see. And Lucas is going to make it stick once again, or keep position rather once again. And Nicky's still behind, and looks like Klawutzke's going to try and take advantage of that, try and dive the inside, perhaps get the cut back here. No, couldn't quite do it. It's tricky through there because it's almost flat anyway. And he's going to try and outbreak him here. That's a very risky. Oh, Nicky's gone deep there though. That might give Klawutzke the initiative, but no, not quite, unfortunately. And might have to look up into this next one though. Will he delve the inside? Yes, he was going to have a look at it. Late braking. Can he get it all stopped? Yes, he can. He's a good exit now, and the move's done, but he's not quite got it there. It looks like Nicky once again has got the better exit. There's some good battling here for a good half a lap we're seeing. And that's had that rubbing line helping. And as I said before, he also has to get a better exit on the outside anyway. So it is surprisingly, despite all the battling, it is as they were. They started this lap.
Yeah, great point. Good spot there. Yeah, the battling between Lucas and Nicky has been going on, it feels like, for a while now, but now Klawutzke getting involved. And even though the car in front of him does have DRS, he's going to just fly by Nicky FD. I think Nicky also was getting the benefit of the slipstream off of Lucas there. I think there was a bump under braking, and Klawutzke's gone very, very deep. He's going to get a good exit, though, and I think Nicky FD let him have that position because I think that was potentially his fault. We're on board with Ycoms now, who, as a result of this battling, has closed right up on this battle for 7th position is what this is for. We got 4 cars running in very close proximity. Nicky FD very, very close to Klawutzke through turn number 1 there. A much tighter line through turn number 2, nearly hitting the bollard and taking lots of the inside curve. And Ycoms, with a better exit, though, is getting a very nice slipstream off of Nicky here on the run down towards turn 4. A nice flat-out section of the circuit as we switch on board with the McLaren driver of Passes, currently running behind Fissler, but quite a ways up the road for that battle for 7th. You can see those guys are over 6 seconds adrift of Passes in 6th position. So Passes, it seemed like he was having a difficult race, but he currently finds himself in 6th position. So clearly things haven't been going that poorly for him. It takes a much better line compared to Fissler, and that has brought him right up behind him as they're rapidly approaching the DRS detection line. Marco FD into the pits at the end of lap 18, and let's see, I believe those are the prime tires. Yeah, he goes on to another set of the prime tires, does Marco FD in his Ferrari, and he's out of the pit, down into 2nd position. Hamish taking the lead of the race, but Hamish as well into the pits. Yeah, that is Hamish into the pits for another set of the prime tires as well. Meanwhile, on the left-hand side, Passes and Fissler side by side as they come to the end of the back straight into the final corner now. Fissler is going to give Passes DRS, and Passes with a great exit as well, and a full bar of curves to use. Holy cow, he just flies off into the distance.
Yes, as you were watching that, actually, though, you did see on the marker on the right-hand side was having a good battle, but I believe he just lost. I can't remember who it was now, I've forgotten, but it was someone on the right-hand side there, but he did just manage to lose out into the pits. But even, of course, now fresh tyres. That will definitely be their last pit as well. They're going to do 11 laps on these primes, so it'll be interesting to see how they get on against these cars, who are probably stopping extra time. I think we're looking at a 2-stop versus a 3-stop here. It looks like 2 leaders are doing a 2-stop, so certainly a good job for them. They're stopping once less, and they're out in the lead when they pit, so fair play to them. Looking like going to be a comfortable win. Probably for Marco, but we'll see what Hamish can do on this new set of tyres, see if he's any quicker on this one.
Yep, and Lucas still leading in this group, so to speak. Klawutzke up into 8th position, though, and Lucas making his way through the very fast-flowing Sector 2 as we come up to the double right-hander, which is sort of really like one corner rather than 2 corners, since you're hitting both apexes sort of consistent. You're just holding the wheel the whole time. Marco FD closing up on Honey Badger, who is the car I imagine that he was battling with at the pit exit, and he's got the DRS, and he's used a little bit of KERS, not tons, as he goes into standard mix. Lucas Schumacher coming under attack from Klawutzke. Nicky FD down into 9th position. Ycoms still in 10th. So Klawutzke and Nicky are the only ones in this group that have had a change of position. Lucas still leads in 7th, and Ycoms still bringing up the rear in 10th. Oh, and a dive bomb move for Klawutzke, and I fear that's going to send him off the circuit. No, he's able to keep it on the track, and amazingly in 7th position as well, but it looks like he's going to move to the right-hand side, and he is going to quit.
Bit of a rage quit there. I think he just decided enough was enough. Not the best race from him. And that's possibly why. Perhaps he held on T-speed that Lucas had a serious incident. He thought, you know what, enough's enough. And here we oh, wow. I mean, there's not a lot Ycoms could have done there. Lucky he didn't lose his wing. But, I mean, just coming around there and just flew into him, not a lot he could have done, to be fair. And Lucas is now coming to the pits. No damage for him. It's just a normal pit stop.
Well, I don't think Klawutzke is going to be anybody's driver of the day today, but that's no fault of his necessarily. It's not a character. It's not a character assassination. That's just meaning he has not had that great of a day in comparison to Australia. So Lucas Schumacher does pit. He's down into 9th position. He's going to have to do 10 laps on this set of prime tires, and he's got a clear track ahead of him. A very clear track ahead of him, in fact. And he is down in last place, so Lucas can really focus on lap times right now, that's for sure. Hamish still running behind Marco, although the gap is smaller than the last time I noticed it. It's down to 1.8 seconds, as I believe Marco is being held up by Honey Badger here, as his pace has dropped off quite a bit. He's going to get the DRS. Let's see if he uses any KERS here. He's into rich mix, but he's not using any KERS. Yeah, he is definitely hanging back and looking to make the overtake on the start-finish straight. I would be interested to see if he's even capable of using all his KERS before the start-finish line. Let's find out.
The same thing.
Yeah, he opens up the DRS, and let's see. Nope, not quite. So, yeah, he actually wasted a little bit of KERS there, but he got the move done, which is all that matters. He's quite a bit ahead of Honey Badger as they head into the braking zone, and he's just got one car ahead of him, and that is Magnussen in the McLaren. Honey Badger now down into 3rd position, and we're on lap number 20, so we got 8 laps still to go after this one is completed, and the majority of the stops, I would say, are completed at this point. Certainly for Hamish and for Marco FD. I'm not sure about Honey Badger. I don't know if you know the last time that Honey Badger stopped or the last time that Magnussen stopped. But, ooh, Honey Badger a bit offline there through turn number 5, going off of the racing line. And he's gone very, very wide at the exit of turn 6 as well. And Hamish is going to take that as an open invitation. He's going to shoot up the inside of the double right-hander at turns 7 and 8. And he's going to take that position pretty easily, actually. Ycoms, meanwhile, on the right-hand side, coming into the pits for what I assume is going to be his final stop. He does go on to the prime tires, interestingly enough. So he's only got 9 laps to do on a set of prime tires on quite a rubbered-in circuit as well. So Ycoms can really push to his heart's content. I believe I saw he came out in last position. I believe he was in 9th, but he can really push as hard as he wants.
Yes, absolutely. And I've not got great data on Magnussen or Honey Badger. According to my data, they pit on, well, Honey Badger last pit on lap 6, and that doesn't seem all that legit. 14 laps, I'm pretty sure they must have pitted at some point in the meantime there. I don't know where I've missed it, which is not put in the footage, but they are, looks like pitting now. Both of them are pitting now, which will be their final stop, and I assume they're going to primes, I think, 7 laps. You probably could manage that on options.
Yeah.
Pushing it personally, at this point, I'd go primes and push hard, rather than go options and have to worry about the tyres. I think perhaps next lap, maybe the lap after, you could perhaps go options. But I think for now, I would probably go primes, but they might want to go options. They might risk it for the pace and hope that tyres hold on. And looks like that Hamish has managed to close Marco right down there, so we could still have a good fight for the lead. Hamish is certainly enjoying these tyres much more than the last ones. Looks like Poss is going to have a look on the outside there if someone come out the pits. Will he make it stick? Yes, he will. managed to go quite deep there, though. He's obviously quite paranoid getting taken out and gone very deep. But he has managed to make the move stick on Magnussen there. But of course, Bosses will have much, much worse tyres than what Magnussen will have. And Bosses last pit on lap 14. So he will be due to pit very, very soon anyway. So he won't be too worried. Probably won't battle too hard with Magnussen here. I wouldn't have thought since he's been on fresh tyres anyway.
Teammates too.
Squeeze him though on the apex and probably can make it, keep the position there, which he's managed to do. And well, it's always good to stay ahead of them as long as you can, hold them up, just in case. You never know, you might be battling with them at the end of the race. It's not likely, but it's always good to hold your competitors up as much as you can. That's what I always used to do anyway.
Yeah, no, totally. I completely agree with that. On board with Ycoms on the very fresh rubber, or at least fresher rubber than Lucas Schumacher's tires, as we're beginning lap 21 with those guys. Ycoms as well with that extra lap of fuel. So again, Ycoms could definitely be a threat for possibly up to 7th position, I believe, in the closing stages of this race with that extra fuel and the slightly fresher tires as well. Hamish braking now for the final corner at the end of lap 21 as we reach the 75% distance of this race. We've only got 7 laps remaining. Pauses, though, with a lot of understeer through the penultimate corner there. His teammate Magnussen just behind him is going side by side with, I believe that's Fissler, if I'm not mistaken, in the other Red Bull car. And his Pauses is going to come into the pits. He's carried a lot of speed into the corner. I sure hope he is coming into the pits, and he does indeed at the end of lap 21. So he's just got 7 laps to do on a set of tires, and it still stands to be seen. Again, I don't speak whatever language that was that just popped up on the left, but we're going to see what sort of tires he puts on, and it is going to be the primes. So just like you said, Alex, probably in this type of situation, better to go for the primes and just give yourself that ability to push as hard as you want for the full 7 laps.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, that's certainly the position now. But I mean, both Marco and Hamish did do 7 laps in the first stint on the option, so I think it is possible. Perhaps Bosses don't like the option so much. In fact, let me see. Bosses did 6 laps actually. He did 6 laps in the first stint on the options. So he's certainly capable now with the less fuel. So considering that, I probably would have gone for options then. He's already done 6 laps on heavy fuel, but there we go. Like I said, at least he can now push hard to the end. And Marco looks like he's got Hamish for close company now. Hamish will probably get DRS, I'd have thought. He's not far behind, so we are going to get a battle for this lead coming into this final stint here. And this is going to be a straight fight then. No more pit stops to be had. I'm not sure about fuel, but just 6 laps left to go and a straight fight for the lead in Malaysia. So it's good to see.
Yep, really looking forward to this. And the sky has been pretty threatening all race long, although we haven't seen a drop. I've been sort of keeping my eye on it. Of course, we know how the weather can be though in F1 2013. So, that certainly would have been nice. I would have personally liked to see a little bit of rain. Hamish getting the DRS there, closing up on Marco, doing the fastest lap of the race with a 1:33.4, quite a bit faster than what we were seeing earlier in the race, and it looks like he's getting some video stutters as well again, so hopefully he doesn't run into any sort of computer problems. We can see the gap, though, between himself and Honey Badger, 20 seconds. I mean, these guys basically have a pit stop in hand.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, like I said, when they first pit, they were quite away in the lead when they pit, and they're on 1 less stop than everyone else. So certainly a good job from them. They've certainly had the superior pace over the field, and I think from what I remember from last race, I think Klawutzke was fairly similar pace to them, just had a few incidents the last race, and once again a few incidents this race. So perhaps he needs to bolt on the options next race and see if he can get high up the grid and avoid some of those incidents. I mean, he might even have a 3-way battle then for the lead, which would be awesome to see in any race.
Yeah, I agree. Ycoms not quite within DRS range on Lucas Schumacher. Lucas obviously pushing as hard as he can in the closing stages of this race to try and hold on to that 8th place position, possibly catch up to Nicky FD, who's not far up the road. I believe this is a replay, or did we skip ahead? Yeah, we skipped ahead to the end of lap number 23. Ycoms actually has gotten within DRS range of Lucas, and yep, he's got the DRS open. He's got a little squirt occurs that he can use at the after this final corner. Oh, very late braking, locks the inside wheel though, makes contact with Lucas, and he's going to definitely give that position back. Yeah, so I think both of these guys can forget about possibly getting 7th position. It's now going to be a straight fight between the two of them for 8th, which I'm sure Lucas is going to be a bit upset about. I think he would have liked to at least have the shot of attacking Nicky FD for that 7th place position. 6th place, as you can see from the mini-map at the bottom left, is quite a ways up the road, however. however, so really that was not a possibility. But Lucas Schumacher looks like 8th is going to be the best possible result that he can get. Ycoms as well, same. Marco FD leading the race as it stands right now. Hamish not too far behind. Honey Badger quite a ways off, just going through the penultimate corner now as these guys are crossing the start-finish line to begin lap number 25. Just 4 laps remaining in this race. I did not see Marco's fuel usage, but I did see he was using a little bit of rich there. I'm not sure how much he has remaining. The gap to Hamish at the moment, just over 1.3 seconds as it stands, but that's all it needs to be in order for Marco to keep Hamish out of that DRS range. On board now with Passes running in second to his teammate Magnussen. They're in 4th and 5th. Passes behind Magnussen by quite a margin, you have to say. Fissler running behind Passes at the moment. Not too far behind. If Passes has any sort of major incident, certainly the Red Bull driver of Fissler could take that 5th place position. But Passes really just needs to kind of keep it on the road.
Yes, absolutely. And just looking at interesting there while you were talking on Marco FD, it looks like he's very, very consistent. His best was a 33.5, 34.5, something like that, 0.5 something. And the lap that he did that we saw at the end of was a 0.6, so super, super consistent. And I'm thinking now perhaps that Marco's got better tyre wear than Hamish, which is quite an achievement. I believe Hamish is on a pad. He was used to be. Actually, no, I think he might switch to a wheel now. But I think Marco's just got the consistency on his side and the better tyre wear, which would explain the superior pace of Hamish to catch up with him at the beginning of the stint. But then that would also explain why he dropped off so much in the previous stint. So we'll see now if Marco can pull away, or if Hamish can now actually keep the pace and perhaps have a better tyre than he did the last stint.
Ycoms, surprisingly enough, still on +1 lap of fuel. I really would have expected to just, for him to just give it the full beans, go into rich mix for an entire lap, really set himself up for the overtake. Lucas, of course, Ycoms won't know this, but Lucas is very, very vulnerable right now with this lap. He's already used a good chunk of his curves, probably 60%. Only got about 40% or so still remaining. Ycoms is very, very close behind him. We can see now just how close he is as they get very, very close to touching. Through the double right-hander there of turns 7 and 8, and Ycoms does move ahead of Lucas, and he's got the benefit of more curves as well. Again, as we mentioned earlier on, he does have the fresher tires as well, so this is a perfect opportunity for Ycoms to try and take it away. I think he needs to pull a Marco here and actually just use that curves coming out of turn 11 to try and break that DRS, which I think was probably one of the best things we've seen in this race so far, actually. That was a great, great job by Marco to use the curves strategically, which is exactly what it's there for, if you ask me. And Marco did it very well. Ycoms, though, not following that same sort of procedure. Hamish using all of the circuit and then some, and trying to get closer. But yeah, you have to say it's looking very scruffy. Let's see if he has made any sort of inroads on him in that sector too. I'm gonna guess he has not. Let's see if the gap is still less than 2 seconds. It's actually, oh yeah, he actually has closed it down, amazingly enough. Clearly he's pushing very, very hard. He gained a couple of tenths through Sector 2 despite running off the circuit a couple of times. I don't think he was all 4 wheels off the circuit, but he's quite on the limit there, you have to say. But I don't think he was within DRS range for Marco.
Yeah, it won't matter now anyway. It's the last lap, so Marco's got a bit of curves left anyway, so plenty of gap there. Looks like Marco's played this race almost perfectly, just not pushing too hard, conserving his tyres, keeping it nice and consistent, and that's the way you win a race. And here he comes on the final corner then to take the win in Malaysia, with Hamish pretty close behind in the end, but Marco backing out of it there anyway, so I don't expect Marco was pushing quite as hard as he could have run on that final lap. And yeah, so decent job for Marco there.
And Passes still in that 5th place position. It looks like he's dropped off of Magnussen, though. 20 seconds, the gap to his teammate right now, is Magnussen already through the final corner and on his way to receive that checkered flag and get that 4th place finish, which I'm sure he's going to be happy about. We'll find out where he finished last time, but I think this was a much better race for the McLaren drivers today than it was in Australia. They sort of took the place of where Marussia was last time. Marussia finishing 4th and 5th in Australia, and here we have McLaren in 4th and 5th in Malaysia, and he's going to come through the final corner down towards the finish line, and Ycoms is going to finish in 8th position by quite a margin, actually, ahead of Lucas Schumacher. Unfortunate, though, that those guys could not bring the fight to Nicky FD in that 7th place position, and Ycoms just going to kind of coast across the finish line as Lucas Schumacher just floors it across, and he's going to but there's our winner, Marco FD, with a well-deserved win. As you said, Alex, in control, looking very smooth. Hamish just kind of all over the place, pushing as hard as he could, just didn't have enough. In the end, the two-stop ended up being the best strategy. Magnussen with an interesting strategy there, going hards at the beginning and then two option stints. That's very interesting. I hadn't noticed that. He ended up finishing about half a second behind Honey Badger, so it was very close for that final podium position, but in the end, the Red Bull driver and pole sitter, Honey Badger, grabbing that final podium position. Passes, the other McLaren driver, in 5th position, as I mentioned. Fissler for Red Bull in 6th, so a nice haul of points for Red Bull today in Malaysia. Nicky FD for Toro Rosso finishing in 7th position. He's followed by Ycoms in 8th, Lucas Schumacher in 9th, and Klawutzke was the last of the DNFers. But of course, he DNF'd too early to earn any points, so he doesn't actually earn any points. So only the top 9 scoring in today's race. Moving on to the back of the field, as we mentioned, only 13 starters in today's race, and it's some more DNFs, unfortunately. In 11th, it was Lcrack91, followed by Double D, and then Cool Cat. So several retirements in this race, and a couple of non-starters as well. Not the best finishing result as far as number of finishers, but I'm sure we will see that improve as the season goes on. And we saw some great racing, though, today in Malaysia, it has to be said. Drivers' Championship, here's how it looks right now. Hamish with the win and a podium, currently leading Marco because he got his win first. Hamish got the first win, so I assume that's why he is leading Marco in the points, even though they're tied on 43. Honey Badger moves up into 3rd position with 23 points. Double D drops down to 4th with 15 points. Ycoms in 5th, followed by Fissler, and then Ycoms teammate Klawutzke in 7th position. Then the two McLarens in 8th and 9th. And yeah, they did not score in Australia, and here they are today in Malaysia, scoring 22 points for McLaren. So it was a much better weekend for McLaren in Malaysia than it was in Australia. Nicky FD tied with Passes, but down in 10th position. He's followed by Lucas Schumacher, Cool Cat, Titan of Racing, Lcrack, and finally NRL Kubica in 15th position. And in the Constructors' Championship, it is currently the Ferraris that are leading with 58 points ahead of Toro Rosso with 53. So just 5 points separating the two Ferrari-powered teams. Red Bull Racing in 3rd with 37 points after a nice haul of points today here in Malaysia. Marussia now down into 4th position with a great race in the season opener in Australia, but not so much here in Malaysia. McLaren, though, moving up in the world with their haul of 22 points, I should say, here in Malaysia, up into 5th position now, well ahead of Williams, Lotus, and Mercedes, who has yet to put a point on the board so far. But of course, they'll have a great opportunity at the next race in China. So next time out for round number 3, it's going to be the Chinese Grand Prix, which is an interesting flowing circuit. Alex and I were actually talking about the similarities with Malaysia, specifically Sector 2, very similar to Malaysia. Some difficult corners, long corners, a very long straight as well, so I think we'll be expecting lots of overtaking there. I want to thank you for joining me today, Alex.
Yes, no worries. Yeah, I'm looking forward to China as well. As you said, it's pretty similar in the middle sector, but that big long back straight and a very tight hairpin after it. Hopefully we see some good actions there. And yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. And thanks everybody for watching. We hope to see you next time for the Chinese Grand Prix. Bye-bye.